Shalom. Before I begin this video, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and double honors to the apostles and elders of the Great Millstone that continually rule very well. And Shalom to the hopeful elect that is also pushing His word, conducting His ministry, spreading His gospel throughout the four corners of the earth in all faith, truth, and sincerity, and giving all diligence. Now, the topic of this video is going to be entitled Division and Inheritance, because contrary to popular belief, that's what the Lord deals with, man. He deals with the nations having their own thing, so to speak. He's not with all people coming together, man. All right, especially the nation of Israel. Okay, because the nation of Israel has an appointed land and an appointed inheritance. Because that's what the majority of these people fail to realize. You have, in particular, the nation of Israel that has an inheritance, right? According to the promises stem down from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Those are inherited rights. All right, from the family. All right, because the Lord deals with bloodlines, man. He deals with bloodlines in which, once again, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and then Jacob down to his sons, which make up the 12 patriarchs, which the patriarchs means fathers, the 12 tribes of Israel. All right. So our inheritance is the promises, the covenants, the giving of the law. If you go in Romans, let's see if I can find it real quick, just for the sake of not misquoting it, because I believe it's Romans the 9th chapter. Let's see. Yeah, that's right. So let's do a quick view. Now this is Romans chapter 9, and I'm gonna start at verse 3. Now this is Paul speaking. It says, "For I could wish that myself were accursed from Yahweh Shai, from my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh," right? Because Paul even said that he was an Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin. All right, you know, these people saying that, oh well, you know, Paul was a Greek. You know what? No, that's not true, man. Paul wasn't a Greek. He had Greek citizenship, but that didn't make him a Greek. All right, his bloodline goes back to the tribe of Benjamin of the nation of Israel. All right, so he's saying that he wished that himself could be accursed from Yahweh Shai for his brethren and his kinsmen according to the flesh. Now, what's that talking about? That's talking about his brothers that are of the bloodline of Israel. All right, and it goes on to say in verse 4, it says, "Who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption," right, "and the covenants," who pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of the Most High and the promises. All right, so there's no other nation that could come into this thing. First and foremost, there's no such thing as a spiritual Israelite. All right, you can't be a spiritual Israelite, man. It goes by bloodline. All right, same thing. I mean, if you deal with that in today's time, whenever you have a father and a son, you know, the father has land or or business or whatever. You know, he's not going to give that to a stranger. He's not going to give that to somebody that that's not a part of his family. No, he's gonna pass that down to his son. All right, and then that son is going to pass it down to his son, and then his son is going to pass it down to that son. So see, it deals with the family line. All right. That also goes into the scripture. Actually, let me get it instead of quoting it. You know, because myself, I like to bring out precepts instead of quoting it. Which that's a thing that that's the thing that I started to do, because I always find myself quoting scriptures, you know, and not bringing them out, which I'm guilty of. But you know, in this one, you're gonna get a full meal of the scriptures. All right, so it says right here, this is Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 2. It says, a bastard, right? Now, a bastard is a child that doesn't have a father. All right. And for one thing, the bastard, you know, if I put a name on it, Edom or Esau, which is the so-called white man, he's a bastard. All right. He's a fatherless child, man, because the Lord didn't choose him to receive all those inherited rights. The line, instead, the inheritance went to Jacob. And see, and that's when, you know, a lot of Jake is like, well, why the so-called white man, you know, why we hate each other so much, you know, why we always go at each other? Well, I mean, the answer is that it goes back to Genesis chapter 25, when we supplanted our brother, when Jacob supplanted his brother Esau. All right, and it was set up that way because Esau pretty much gave his birthright for a piece of uncooked meat. All right. For those of you that understand that precept where it speaks about red pottage, which really it was uncooked meat. All right. So Esau gave up his birthright for some food, right? Because Esau was saying, well, this birthright, you know, it means nothing to me. You know, I just want to go ahead and eat because I'm famished. You know, I'm hungry. I want this food now. I don't care about my birthright. That's what Esau did, man. And then Jacob got the birthright, and the Lord acknowledged that. That's why Jacob came in, and as his father Isaac mistook him for Esau and gave him the blessings. And then Isaac went on to say, and yea, he will be blessed. All right, you can go in the book of Genesis chapter 25 and you can read it for yourself. All right. So, with that being said, you know, when it comes to inherited rights, our inherited rights are the promises, the covenants, the glory, the giving of the law, and the service of the Most High. That's our inheritance, and also that's our heritage. Okay. So no other nation can come into this thing, man. You can't call yourself you can't call yourself a spiritual Israelite and say, "Oh, I got the promises too." It doesn't work that way. You have to be of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And so, if you're not in the bloodline of Jacob, which stem down to the 12 tribes of Israel, then you have no part in this. All right. So don't take it up with the messenger. Take it up with the Most High that wrote the message. All right. So I'm also read this in Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8. It says, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. for Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. So this pretty much hit the final nail in the coffin, man. It says Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. Okay, because he separated the bounds of the people, right, and gave them their appointed lands, right? Especially with the tribes of Israel. You know, you have a land of Judah, land of Benjamin, land of Gad, and then outside of the nation of Israel, you have the nations that have their appointed lands, right? You have the land of Moab, even Edom had their own land, which was south of Judah. All right, Edom had their land. All right, yeah, Ammon had their land. Elam, Ishmael, and soon when this place is destroyed, according to the Bible, which this place is called Babylon the Great, which is America. When this place is destroyed, then those bounds are going to be set again. You're going to have the nations going to have their appointed land, and Israel is going to have their lands as they had before. All right, and them so-called Jews, which call themselves Jews but are really not, according to Revelation chapter 3 verse 9, and also just seeing the wickedness that goes on there, you know those are not the people of the Lord, man. I mean, that's obvious. So when we're set back in the land of Israel, then everything's going to be back in order, the way it should be. All right, because the old landmarks have been moved. All right. Actually, let me see if I can get that real quick. Remove not the old landmark, because that's something that Esau has done. All right, he removed the old landmark. And let's see if I can get it real quick. Let's see. All right. Now this is Deuteronomy chapter 19 verse 14. It says, "Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark, which they of old time have set in thine inheritance." Oh, there it is again. "Which they of old time have set in thine inheritance, which thou shalt inherit in the land that Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai thy power giveth thee to possess it." All right. So there it is, man. It said, look, don't remove. That's in the law, man. Which Deuteronomy, the word Deuteronomy means the second book of the law, right? It says, "Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark, which they of old time have set in thine inheritance, which thou shalt inherit in the land that Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai thy power giveth thee to possess it." And that's something that Esau did, man. I mean, look who's there in the land of Israel now, man. Those so-called gutter rats. I mean, those so-called Jews, man. Those gutter rats. Those Khazars, man. Because really, those are Khazars in that land, man. All right. And actually, let me get another precept, man. I'm gonna dish out all these precepts to you, to Yaki, man. Just like, give me 1 second. All right. That's Zechariah chapter 9 verse 6. It says, "And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines." All right. Now, like I said before, reading back in Deuteronomy, it's saying a bastard shall not come into the congregation of the Lord, right? Even to his 10th generation. I believe I read that already, but that's back in Deuteronomy, man. A bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, right? We're talking about Esau. So Esau is in that land right now, man. All right. And it says, "I will cut off the pride of the Philistines." Okay. Now moving on from there, I want to get the book of Revelations, chapter 2, verse 9, and it reads, "I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan." All right. So right here, man, this actually the scripture is twofold. All right. Because the scripture is not only talking about back then, you know, when You had our people, which they called the Jews back then, which really the Jews is Israel in general. But you had Judah, Benjamin, and Levi that was in that region during that time. And the Lord is saying that, look, they're the synagogue of Satan. But the scriptures are also talking about Esau too, because he's also the synagogue of Satan, man. All right. He said, I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. All right. So right here, man, is just reiterating that the ones that actually are in that land are not supposed to be there. They remove that landmark. All right. And now you got heathens that's treading down the land of Israel right now. Okay, but like I said before, the Lord, when Yahushua, whom the word ain't really called Jesus, when he returns, he's gonna bring us out of this land, which is Babylon the Great in the scriptures, America. When he comes back and deliver us, he's gonna set us back in that land, and he's gonna take those so-called Jews out of that land. All right. So we're coming into that time pretty soon, because, you know, as of today, man, today is the eclipse. So, and that's one of the signs of heaven that the Lord is showing to us to let us know that that time is very near, especially with the prophecy, especially concerning the mark of the beast and martial law. The major prophecies that are they're entering in the doors right now, man. They're here. All right. So with that, man, go ahead and end off this lesson. Hopefully, Yakim were edified, Lord willing. Until next time, once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that continually rule very well. And peace and safety to the hopeful elect that is also pushing forth this word, that is giving all diligence to make your calling and election sure. And through faith and sincerity, in the name of truth, in the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And with that, I'm going to say Shalom.